What if I told you that a 19-year-old may have walked away with nearly $200 million by shorting crypto just minutes before a presidential announcement? And that this teenager is none other than Barron Trump, the youngest son of the US president. Today we'll trade the money, follow the unshelled trail, and find out what is real and what is just viral on the internet. Sup, I'm David, and if you missed my first video, the one I survived the October 11th crypto crash, go watch it after this. Now, let's dive in. It all started on October 10, right before President Trump posted the shocking announcement: 100% tariff on Chinese goods, plus export controls set to begin on November 1st. Just hours before the news hit, someone made a massive move on the crypto exchange Hyperliquid, shorting Bitcoin and Ethereum with 50x leverage. When the tariff announcement went live, Bitcoin crashed nearly 8% and Ethereum dropped over 10%. By the next day, analytics showed 19 billion liquidated, the largest single-day wipeout on record. But in the middle of chaos, one trader walked away with nearly $200 million in profit. The timing was perfect, almost too perfect. According to on-chain analysts and press reports, a previously inactive wallet on Hyperliquid labeled OXB317 opened enormous short positions about 30 minutes before Trump's post on Truth Social. That means the first trades likely went live around 2030 to 2035 UTC time, based on Hyperscan data provided by tweets on X and other sources. Then, at 9:03 p.m. UTC time, the president's message dropped and the market collapsed. Within minutes, the single address turned the shorts into roughly $192 million in profit. Analytics now call it one of the most perfectly timed trades ever recorded on chain. The crazy part is that he shorted another 9 figures worth of BTC and ETH minutes before the cascade happened, said observer MLM, who added, "And this was just publicly on Hyperliquid. Imagine what he did on the Axis or elsewhere." I'm pretty sure this guy played a huge role in what happened today. Could anyone really predict that? Because if you could, you'd be a millionaire overnight. And within minutes, the internet went wild. Reddit, X, Telegram, and as the theory spread, one name kept popping up again and again: Barron Trump. But why Barron? Because his name is already tied to crypto. He is reportedly a co-founder of World Liberty Financial, a crypto company he launched together with his father and brothers. Multiple media have written about it, saying that the project gave the Trump family billions in token allocations and profits after the election. His net worth is around $150 million, most of it from crypto investments. That's more than enough to open a $200 million leverage position. And he's not just some outsider, he literally lives inside the White House where those huge policy decisions are made. So when a massive short trade made hundreds of millions just minutes before his death post, people started connecting the dots. They looked at the timing, the family's crypto company, the sudden profits, and said, it has to be Barron. And here's the thing, this isn't even the first time. Similar coincidences happened earlier this year, right before Trump's big crypto reserve announcement. So, was it the most obvious case of insider trading we've ever seen, or a genius move? After the internet started blaming Barron Trump, something unexpected happened. A Chinese trader named Garrett Jin suddenly came forward and said, "It wasn't Barron Trump, it was me." Jin claimed that his $192 million profit came from purely his technical analysis, not from any insider information. Why would a trader with such a shady history, someone once linked to Bitforex scandals, suddenly confess to one of the most perfectly timed trades ever made? Was he really behind it, or he was protecting someone? Because here's what on-chain data shows. The same wallet, OXB317, that made the first $192 million trade, wasn't done yet. Just a few days later, it opened another $163 million short on Bitcoin, this time with 10x leverage. Trackers even found connected addresses opening more shorts, in total over $400 million. The trader was back, doubling down. That's when analysis realized this wasn't just luck, someone knew exactly how to move the market. But as on-chain data piled up, a new theory started forming. maybe this wasn't just about one trader, but about a much bigger operation, one that used the chaos of the Trump's announcements as the perfect smokescreen. Now let's break down what really caused the crash, because this wasn't just panic after Trump's post. It was a setup, planned, timed, and executed almost perfectly. Here's what investigators later found. At the same time the huge short was open, someone started dumping tens of millions of dollars in stablecoins on Binance, around $60 to $90 billion worth. These were coins like USDE, VBTH, and BNSOL. And here's the problem. Binance system had a bug. It was calculating traders' balance using its own prices, instead of checking in with the outside data sources. So when those tokens suddenly dropped in price on Binance only, the exchange thought the billions in users' collateral had just disappeared. That mistake triggered mass liquidation, automatic sell-offs of people's positions worth between $500 million and $1 billion. It was like a domino effect. One liquidation caused another, and another, and another. Then, just a few minutes later, Trump's tariff post hit. The markets were already on edge, and that message was the spark that blew up the whole system. Panic spread fast. Liquidity vanished. And within hours, the total damage reached almost $90 billion. But here's what it gets suspicious. That same day, new wallets appeared on Hyperliquid, opening about $1.1 billion in Bitcoin and Ethereum shorts, funded by around $110 million in USDC that came from Arbitrum-linked accounts. When the Binance chaos began, those shorts made a $192 million profit in just a few hours. Too perfect to be random? Some analytics believe the trader wasn't acting alone. They think this might have been a coordinated move, using Binance bag, timing it with the Trump's announcement, and cashing in on both. Binance later admitted there were technical issues, offered compensation to affected users, and quickly changed its system to use more reliable price data. But by then, the money was already gone. A 19 million dump had triggered a 19 billion meltdown. To some, this was the most sophisticated crypto exploit ever seen. To others, the luckiest timing in trading history. So maybe this wasn't about insider info from the White House. Maybe it was about someone smart enough to use the political chaos as cover for one of the most sophisticated market exploits ever pulled. Still, the Barron Trump theory didn't come from nowhere. Let's not forget, the Trump family is deeply tied to crypto. According to Forbes and Financial Times, Barron owns about 10% of World Liberty Financial, worth roughly $38 million after tax. His brothers, Donald Jr. and Eric, who also hold massive crypto stakes, and Donald Trump itself, with an estimated $7 billion net worth, has become one of the most pro-crypto presidents ever. Their company operated in a gray zone, mixing politics, business, and tokens that react to every policy move. So even if Barron wasn't the mystery trader, people still question. When the president's own family profits from the same market his tweets can move, is that a still free market? The whole story exposes crypto's biggest problem, the lack of rules. In traditional finance, trading and secret information is insider trading, a serious crime. But in crypto, where everything is decentralized and anonymous, there is no clear laws, and no one to enforce them. To charge someone, regulators need two things: proof of who owns the wallet and proof they had the secret information. And right now, they have neither. So even if Barron Trump or anyone else actually used insider info, there might be no law that stops them. And even if no crime was committed, the optics are bad, because when the president's family runs a crypto company that gains from sudden policy shocks, it makes people wonder if the system is fair at all. Whether it was Barron Trump, Garrett Jin, or a group of anonymous trolls exploiting Binance's flow, the result was the same: a perfectly timed trade that moved the entire crypto market. Crypto isn't just about technology anymore, it's about power, information, and timing. And if one anonymous user or one presidential tweet can wipe out billions in minutes, then maybe the question isn't did Barron Trump control the market, but rather who are really in control of the market at all. By the way guys, if you really would like to know how I personally survived the crypto crash, I will leave the link in the description to my first video on this YouTube channel so you can watch. And hit like, subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye bye!